What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And today I need to talk to you about something really, really important. But before I do, I want to say that I had already created a video on this topic. I was dissatisfied with the way that it came out. I tried doing a follow-up video, and I'm dissatisfied about the way that came out. So I'm starting this video over from scratch. If you saw one of those previous videos, my most sincerest apologies. But today, a lot of media agencies about gaming are reporting that the people at EA and PopCap are putting microtransactions into the wildly popular next-gen console game, Garden Warfare, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And this came about as a shock to a handful of people. Most people seem to see it coming. A few people are outraged, a few of us are not. And I want to cover all of those issues right here, right now. Now, one of the reasons I was so outraged when I heard it is because when I was originally going to purchase that game, we were told that this game was not going to have microtransactions at launch. That's what the producer said. There will not be microtransactions at launch. A lot of people predictably expected that meant that there was going to be microtransactions in the future. Some of us took it as the opposite of that, though. Some of us took it as we are not doing them at launch and possibly they never will be. Some of us still have a lot of faith in PopCap. Some of us still have a lot of faith in EA that we are eventually going to get the big turnaround from that company that says, we know that you don't like microtransactions, we know you don't want games designed on them, we know you don't want to purchase a game that then asks for more money, and a lot of us hoped that this game was going to be it. And for the first 2 months, it was. And so it's a big shift. It's a big, big change to see microtransactions added to this game. Now, a lot of people feel that, number one, it's not a big deal because it's really not going to affect the balance of the game. And I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true. The balance of the game is good enough. And in fact, over the past couple of patches, they have made it easier and more accessible and easier to get coins to unlock all the different abilities and all the different classes. That's great. I love the fact that they did that. And I feel that even though they're adding microtransactions, it's still good-natured. I'm a fan of the game too. I get why you feel that way. The problem for me is that this game is clearly fluid, and in the future, there's no telling what this game is going to be. I want this game to be the good guy Greg of video games. I want this to be the EA apology that we've all wanted for so long. I want this game to be the no microtransactions reversal of the entire decision that every game we put out will have microtransactions because we want more money because money. Not because it's good for the consumer, not because it's good for gaming, not because it's good for the rest of us. And that brings me on to a second point that I've seen raised quite often, that these guys have given us 2 free content packs that include a lot of awesome stuff, and it's true. New character classes, new levels, new game modes, new stuff, new upgrades to the character via cosmetics. Just a great overall set of content packs, and they want to continue to do that. The way they do that is by letting whales, people who have more money than sense, purchase in-game currency so that they can pay the staff to continue to produce that stuff. I get that too, and I'm all for it. I just wish that they could instead rely on game sales, attachment rate. Maybe they can do anything to keep the game going that doesn't involving microtransactions. Why do I have a problem with microtransactions in this game? Clearly, Boogie, you don't have problems with microtransactions in Hearthstone, for example. Hearthstone, for me, is a completely different game because it is free to download and free to install and free to begin to play. And chances are you will spend money at some point out of frustration during Hearthstone to get access to better cards. And that's okay because you've spent nothing so far. You're supporting the game by purchasing the product. I think that is an almost forgivable setup, specifically because some of the streamers for that game have gone all the way without ever spending a dime. The problem is, with Garden Warfare, you spend $40 up front to get access to what? To get access to a game that is built around microtransactions. And like I said, this is the best game on the Xbox One, period. I don't know how well it fares on the 360, but the Xbox One, it is the leading title to me. It is a must-have purchase. It should have a 100% attachment rate to that device. And when it comes out to PlayStation and PC, I still highly recommend it, microtransactions, and all. But that said, it's very, very frustrating to me to pay for a game that then when you get home asks you to spend more, no matter how great that game is. That's the line in the sand for me as a gamer, as a person. And you got to remember, I've been playing games for a lot longer than a lot of you have been alive. I remember when an expansion for a game was something I was scared of because they're going to take advantage of it. But the first few expansions were really good. They added playability and length and new content, new units and new maps and new stuff to your games. That was awesome. Until eventually they became less and less and less and less content for the same price. And eventually we got shitty expansion packs, which were nothing but money grabs, and I started to hate expansion packs. Then DLC came along, and DLC promised to be miniature expansion packs designed after the fact, after the game is launched. Instead, they became omissions of content that should have been in the base game. And of course, eventually we got horse armor so we could see how bad they could come. So I fought DLC when it was new. Unlocking stuff that's already on the disc, that's bullshit. Well, that's the norm now. And the new challenge facing gamers, the new challenge facing our hobby, the new thing poised to become the norm but potentially destroyed in the process is microtransactions for games you purchase. And I'm not talking $1.99, $2.99 on the App Store. I'm talking about $40 and $60 retail titles that when you plug them in, immediately have a store on the front page that says, spend more now. And not just for cosmetic upgrades. And this is my biggest complaint, my second biggest complaint with this. When you unlock stuff in Plants vs. Zombies, you earn coins every time you play or do anything. You earn coins, and those coins are used to unlock packs. And these packs are a little convoluted and a little difficult to get the things that you want. And some of the things you can get out of these packs are purely cosmetic. Many are unlocked variations of the character classes. So, for example, there's the pea shooter, there's also the fire pea shooter, and the ice pea shooter, and the toxic pea shooter, and so forth. These have slight variations of the way they play, and some are slightly more powerful than others. But what is actually almost unforgivable is that there are also upgrades to those classes that can include a speed boost, reload boost, amount of ammo that you have, the amount of damage that you do, the amount of hit points you have. These are actual issues. Now, thankfully, the guys at PopCap, in this case, have created a mode that allows you to have no upgrades whatsoever and only play the base classes. If you've chosen to grind, if you've chosen not to spend any of that stuff, you don't have to fight people who have access to that stuff, which may make them better. It's great designed game. It's a great designed game based on the limitation of eventually we're going to put microtransactions in it. The downside is if you don't play that game mode, you get thrown out of whack, you're out of your league, and it sucks. And when these games launch on PlayStation and PC, I can only presume they're going to have microtransactions built in day one. So that means there's a guy running around with all the character classes and all the upgrades, running around at character level whatever, day one. And it's unfair to the people who want to experience the enjoyable, fun grind of just playing the game and earning coins. When there are no microtransactions, and you left wanting more coins to unlock more stuff, that's a good thing. To want more, to need more, to want to play your game more. That's good. Bad is when you want to spend money to bypass the content just to get the reward. And allowing that bridge to be there is a big concern. And one of my other big concerns is absolutely this. You are looking at exploitability. Right now, the newest expansion, the newest free DLC, the pack that you get all the new content from costs 30,000 coins. And that's going to take you about an hour and 15 minutes to hour and 30 minutes to unlock that many coins. Sometimes less, depending on how well you do. It's still performance-based. That said, even at an hour a pack, that's pretty good. How do we know that the next free DLC will not include a 50,000 silver pack, 50,000 coin, 100,000 coin, to the point that it eventually begs for you to spend money because the time consumption is too hard? This game has proven to be fluid, and whereas I can still recommend it now, do I know that I can recommend it in the future? No, especially once microtransactions are there, once that exploitability is in the game. When I was growing up, I remember we had to unlock cheats, not pay to get them. But I digress. But beyond anything, this is what truly frustrates me. I feel that when they launched the game and they said that we have no intentions for microtransactions here at the beginning, I believe that it was an omission of a very important truth. The answer, I think, in this case and in all cases should be quite simply this. Yes, we have plans for DLC, paid DLC, and microtransactions, and you need to know up front. And I believe the reason that information was omitted on the day the announcement was made was because they knew it would hurt initial sales. And they were right to think that. Beyond that, they have created a wonderful game, one that I truly, truly enjoy playing, and I believe that I would like to take this one step further. I believe that you should never omit important information of your customers. I feel it's tantamount to lying. But more importantly, I think we should have a future in which the back of every box of every video game you play will mention on a line, has DLC, has microtransactions. I want to push for that. I want to push that for the social responsibility of every upcoming console title, of every Steam download, of every game that comes out in the future, just the same way the App Store already does, has in-app purchases right there on the description page before you ever buy them and tells you what they are. I think that absolutely needs to be the future of gaming, and this is the example that should tantamount. Now, I don't necessarily believe that you should avoid Plants vs. Zombies, and if you haven't, I hope you continue to play it. I think it's simply the best game on Xbox One. That said, this is a matter of principle. It doesn't affect the game as much as it affects the fact that this is not how gaming should be, and I do not want it to be the norm, and I hope you don't either. Simple.